Welcome back to all you Tombstone tourists out there. Here we are for another episode of Spooky Slumbers, designed to help you sleep like the long departed. Before we get spooky tonight, please leave us a rating or review and share the podcast with someone who would like to get creepy cozy too. If you want to help the pod to keep going, please consider buying us a coffee to help stay up, writing stories through the dead of night. The link is in the show notes. Tonight, you'll be taking a stroll in the Foraging Forest. You know that this particular forest is renowned for the best foraging for miles around. There are even tales of a foraging goblin who can show you parts of the forest that are beyond your wildest dreams. You'll experience what the forest has to offer, and you can slip into a deep sleep at any time that is right for you. So, with that in mind, take a breath and get yourself settled into your bed, feeling the weight of your body sinking into your bed. You take another breath, closing your eyes, letting your body go, surrendering to sleep, knowing that there is nothing left for you to do today. You imagine that there is an iridescent ball of light that starts at the soles of your feet and gently moves upwards, relaxing your body as it passes through. First your feet, then your legs, your stomach, then your chest, arms, and finally your face and head. Thoughts may come and go, but you let them slip through your mind without placing any importance on them. You let them go off into the woods in front of you, where they will get carried away by the breeze. No need to chase them, just let them go. It's time to relax. There is nothing left for you to do today, and the Foraging Forest is ready for you. Tugged up in warm, cozy clothing, crisp orange and golden leaves crinkle and crunch softly underfoot as you walk, the noise both satisfying and pleasing to the ear. Every so often, you kick a small drift of the leaves and watch them fall lazily to the ground, aided by the breeze that whispers through the trees, beckoning you in, yet thankfully carries none of the chill of winter. You are out on the hunt for fantastical fungi in a myriad of different colours, shapes and sizes. You also hope to catch a glimpse of a foraging goblin. Many times you have heard your foraging friends talk about them. But not one of them has ever had the fortune to spot one, nor are they sure what they look like. It is said that whenever a foraging goblin is around, you can be sure there will be more mushrooms to forage than you could ever imagine, and more varieties than you have ever seen in one place. There are many tales of foraging goblins inhabiting this very forest, and they only show their gnarled faces to the most special of foragers. In this particular forest are all kinds of varieties of fungi to be found, and you prefer to go rustling through the undergrowth at midnight, as under the light of the moon the plants that you forage will be infused with extra healing properties. Although it is approaching midnight, The moon is so large and full in the sky that there is still more than enough light to guide you through the forest, and as you walk, you idly consider that tonight is a perfect night for the goblin to be out and about. Up above you, you hear the whisper of wings and an owl hoots its greeting. Looking up, you give the snow-white owl a nod and watch as it stretches its wings languidly and settles back comfortably onto its branch, the breeze ruffling its feathers. The relaxing scent of the forest is now all around you, and there's a clear pathway in front of you, leading you deeper into the Foraging Forest. As you walk, you begin to scan the ground for any sign of mushrooms amidst the fallen leaves and bracken. This is the most exciting part, when you spot something and wonder, is it a mushroom cap or just a leaf? Or perhaps just bracken? Almost immediately you spot something and realise as you get closer that sure enough, it's the beautiful, if not at all edible, small yellow ochre caps of sulphur tufts growing from a fallen log. You smile, knowing that not only have you found some mushrooms, you have found a place where mushrooms will grow. A grand old oak tree stands proudly beside the fallen log and sulphur tufts. Its comfortingly enormous trunk and branches home to a variety of emerald green mosses and dusty looking lichens. Although the tree is largely bare and the season have turned its remaining leaves the colour of rust, you still feel the tree is bustling with life. A small movement to one side of the oak catches your eye, and you realise that there is a small but cheerful looking goblin you might recognise. In one hand, it carries a foraging basket, and in the other it carries what appears to be a glowing staff made of carved wood and pale blue luminescent mushrooms. They seem to be waiting for something. Perhaps they are waiting for you. The goblin waves the large empty basket woven from willow at you, and gestures at a clump of bay boletes at your feet. The large dapper chestnut brown caps, almost invisible amongst the fallen leaves. What a haul! The goblin flourishes a small silver penknife and cuts 4 large mushrooms from the cluster. Leaving some for the insects, or perhaps another forager. The goblin pats the bay boletes now nestling in their basket and ambles off, deeper into the forest, their knapsack jostling slightly as they go. They pause, only to turn back to you and beckon you to follow them. You think to yourself that the stories must be true. That was the largest patch of mushrooms you've ever come across in one place. You decide to follow the unusual creature, and although it is night and the goblin only small, there is light enough from their staff to follow them further into the trees. You follow them through the trees deeper into the forest, your feet crunching on twigs and leaves and mossy mounds. You have only been walking for what feels like a short distance when the goblin points at the ground to the left of you. And there, standing upright, amidst some bone-dry bracken, a profusion of deep purple and lilac mushrooms. "Amethyst deceivers," you whisper with a smile. The goblin winks at you, and with a lopsided grin, they cut a handful of the mushrooms with a silver knife and add them to the basket. Just then, to your left, you notice the telltale yellowish cap of a chanterelle patch, growing near a stand of knobbly beech trees. You gesture happily to your woodland companion, and they set off to add them to your bounty. The chanterelles smell faintly of apricots as the goblin cuts a large handful and excitedly adds them to the basket. More edible mushrooms grow beside the beech trees, and in the same small clearing you recognize with glee a few poorly looking seps protruding from the ground. Now velvety brown caps like wide-brimmed hats above their bulbous stems. The goblin joins you in your elation and sets to harvesting the largest one. Rubbing their hands after they add it to the other mushrooms in the basket. The wrinkled, folded, honeycomb grey-brown flesh of morel caps are dotted amongst a pile of leaf litter, their slender white stems in contrast, like small porcelain bones holding them up. The goblin adds a small number to the myriad of mushrooms residing in the basket, and with a gesture that clearly signifies enough, they head to the edge of the tree line. Now, on the forest floor, weaved in and out of the trees, you can see twinkling and glistening mushrooms of all colours. The moonlight bounces off the colourful caps, creating a beautiful glow all around you. There are pink wrinkled peaches, scarlet elf cups, which is shaped like a cup with a brilliant red interior, perfect for any elf's tea party. The fly agaric, with its smooth red cap dotted with white spots. It's the classic toadstool. There is the strawberries and cream fungus, otherwise known as the devil's tooth, white with gooey red sap. Some of the most colourful mushrooms you can see are coral fungus, vibrant orange, pink or lilac fingers sticking out through the undergrowth. There are some that appear like white waterfalls cascading from the trees, and a number that glow in the dark in an assortment of different hues. What a special night, you think to yourself. You could never have imagined to see so many fungi in one place. You know it is not wise to forage some of these types of mushrooms, and neither do you have the urge to. The foraging goblin is showing you what the forest has to offer by bringing these hidden beauties out of their hiding places for the evening. You are happy just to look at this humbling sight. The goblin indicates that it's time for you to move on, and you follow them into a clearing strung up with lamps. And in the centre of the clearing sits a small ring of fire-blackened stones, and inside the ring a freshly made fire. Large logs carved into very comfortable looking seats sit a safe distance from the fire, and you make your way over, looking forward to both the idea of sitting down and the warmth and primal comfort you'll derive from firelight. and the warmth is most welcome as you enjoy the superior craftsmanship of the log's seating. The goblin produces a small pan and pats it down onto some of the embers in the fire pit, adding pinches of herbs from pouches on their belt. Each smelling more delightful than the last. In go the mushrooms you've collected, and you realise a small snack might be just what you need after all your hard work foraging. The goblin takes a deep sniff of the contents of the pan, and with a self-satisfied nod and a smile, they seem to be saying that it is time to eat. A polished wooden bowl appears from within the goblin's sleeve and is filled with a ladle of delicious smelling mushrooms, a small wooden spoon balancing atop the food. Before you know it, you have devoured the lot and are watching the goblin happily eating their own bowl of delightful food, a growing sense of sleepy satisfaction spreading through you. They nod at you, and, patting their belly happily, you know in your bones that not only is it safe and comfortable to slumber here, it is expected. It seems like the hallmark of a good goblin meal is how quickly and comfortably one falls into a deep, deep sleep. The rhythmic noises of the goblin's quiet breathing, along with the occasional crackle and pop of the fire, caress you into closing your eyes, safe in the knowledge that when you awake, you'll feel rested, content, and more than a little happy at having made a goblin's acquaintance.